Hello boys and girls, this strategy is on difference unchanged. Ratio heuristic worksheet question 3. Let us start by reading the question. This year, okay, take note, this year, Mr. Lee is 4 times as old as his son. Well, this shows that Mr. Lee is actually 4U, okay, while the son is actually 1U. So in terms of ratio, Mr. Lee is to the son is 4:1. Well, 8 years ago, he was 10 times as old as his son. That means Mr. Lee is 10U, while the son is actually 1U. So 8 years ago, the ratio of Mr. Lee is to the son is 10:1. Now the question asks you, how old is Mr. Lee now? Well, before we start to do this question, we have to know that age is a very special thing. Okay, for age, every one of us will increase by the same equal number of years, which is 1 year, every single year. So our increase is the same. Having the same increase, our difference will always be the same. So we know that when it comes to age question, it will be a difference unchanged strategy because the years of pi will always be the same every single year. Okay? Because we increase by the same number of years, which is 1 year. Okay, so now in this case, I'm going to write down the two scenario, which is this year and 8 years ago. Okay, so this year, Lee is to son is actually 4:1. And over here, 8 years ago, Lee is to son is actually 10:1. Okay, so just now as I was saying that that the difference will always be the same for age, so difference, okay, and difference. Now children, please remember to always write the title so that you remember what you are doing, because there are a lot of numbers going on. You have to actually write the title so that you exactly know what kind of steps you're writing and what does that mean. Okay, so in this case, when I use 4U for this year, 4U minus 1U, it will give me 3U. And for 8 years ago, 10U minus 1U, that will give me 9U. Okay, if you realize they are different, but they should be the same. The difference will always be the same for age, right? So in this case, here's what I'm going to do. Just have to times 3 for this one, and that will give me 9U. Yay! So this 9U and this is 9U, so they are finally the same. But how do I get this 9U? Okay, I simply have to do for this. Okay, and I'll get 12:3. Now I know that if I use 12U minus away 3U, I will get 9U. Okay, so now I can compare both ratio, okay, because both ratio having the same difference, I will know that the ratio is actually they are cut into the same parts, okay, the same sizes, so I can just compare like that. Now when we read the question, the only so-called numbers that they have given to us, the accurate exact numbers that they have given to us, is actually this 8 years. So how can I use this 8 years ago? Well, I know that this year, Mr. Lee is 12 units, or the son is 3 units. But 8 years ago, Mr. Lee is 10 units, the son is 1 unit. Which means that if I'm going to use Mr. Lee only, if I use 12U minus away 10U, the difference is actually 8 years, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use 12U minus away 10U. I will get 2 units. And I know that 2 units is definitely 8 years. And 1U will give me 8 divided by 2, and that will be 4. So the question asks me, how old is Mr. Lee now? So I can just use these units of this year, 12. Okay, so 12U. Okay, so 12 times 4 equals to 48. And the answer is 48. Well, I can use the son to check. Okay, if I use the son, if I'm going to use the son, 3U and 1U. So this here is 3U minus 1U is equals to 2U. And this 2U represents 8 years ago. 1U will be equals to 8 divided by 2. That will give me 4. And same. Okay, so I will need to find Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee is 12U. So 12 times 4, I will get 48. So voila, my answer is definitely correct. Thank you.